Hey, what's going on everyone? This is Mike Kollin at MikeKollin.com. So this video is going to be about why avoidants purposely misunderstand you. It's the opposite reason why narcissists purposely misunderstand you. I want to mention something early on because I want to see if any of you have gone through this yet. So a lot of us on this channel came to this channel because of narcissist abuse. Well, I got through it. Life became happy again. It was a long journey to get through it. And once I finally got through it, it was like, okay, life's fun now. Okay, I get it. I understand it. Narcissists avoiding me now because I go after them. I attack them back, blah, 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 etc. So life is good. So then all of a sudden, I met someone who I literally thought was possibly going to be the woman of my dreams for the rest of my life. I thought this was the one. Turns out she was an avoidant. So here's the funny thing. I noticed on a bunch of channels over the last year, there were people saying, oh man, I just got through this narcissist abuse thing, and about a year later, I ran into an avoidant. Now I'm learning all about avoidant behavior so I can see the red flags for that too, blah, blah, blah. So a lot of people are like, wow, what a coincidence that not only have we dealt with narcissist abuse and finally got over it, now all of a sudden, now we're dealing with avoidance. So have you gone through that? Because I don't think it's a coincidence. I do tend to believe it's a spiritual thing. It's a spiritual lesson. Like, okay, now that we've learned this dark side, how do we deal with this other behavior that's maybe not just as bad, but it's very painful. It's emotionally painful, but it comes from the opposite end of the spectrum. Okay, let's get into it. So a narcissist will purposely will purposely misunderstand what you're saying. And they do it on purpose because they're trying to drive you nuts. They're trying to create this anxiety, this stress, this frustration. They're trying to make you miserable because they think it's funny. And because they're trying to hurt you. They enjoy that. Now, let's go to the flip side of the coin and look at avoidance. So the question is, why would an avoidant do the same thing if they're not coming from the same place? Now, an avoidant is someone who avoids dealing with their issues. They avoid emotions, they avoid intimacy, they avoid love, even though they desire love. And it's a really hard thing for an avoidant because on the one hand, inside they want to be loved, they want to be intimate, they want to be close, but they were beaten down their whole life and basically punished and put the fear of God in them that, like, don't open up emotionally, don't be intimate, just, be strong. So they learned that opening up is bad and is literally punishable by physical violence and verbal violence, etc. So the natural part of an avoidant person is they want to be in love like anyone else. They want to be close to people. They want to be loved. But then there's the other side that was beaten into them physically or emotionally or verbally, or probably all three, that is told and taught, no, that's wrong, that's bad. And so they learn to fear it. So they open, and oh shit, I'm too open, and then they close down completely and they run away. Okay, let me explain it in my personal experience. I think this will make it easier for me to explain it. So I was with someone who I very much liked, very, very, very much liked this person. And I had noticed, it was this, probably the 5th time or 7th time we spent some time together, gone out, and it was the 2nd time we went to a coffee shop, and I noticed they were upset, and I didn't understand why. I was trying to figure out, like, well, why would that upset them? I said something really positive about them. I was like, okay, this is weird. And we walked out, and she was walking behind me, and I just thought, well, hey, is everything okay? Like, what's going on? And she goes, well, why would you say that? And I'm like, say what? And she goes, well, you said blah, blah, blah. I go, wait a minute. I go, to the best of your ability, what did I say verbatim, word for word, even if you don't get it correct? She literally not only reversed what I said, but she changed 2 of the words. She took 2 words out and changed it to the opposite words. And not only did it change the sentence, it changed the complete meaning of what I said and the complete intention of what I said. And I thought, why would someone do that? And I said, that's not what I said at all. That's the opposite of what I said. She goes, what? Now, I'm not mad at this person. I think this is a challenge that they have. Let me just explain. You'll get it. You'll get it. And so I said, no, I said blah, 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 blah. And she went, oh, that's right, you did. But you meant this. I'm like, no, I didn't mean that at all. So I thought, well, she's young, she'll learn, and I'll teach her, I'll sit her aside and say, hey, let me teach you something about listening to understand. Because this is the challenge that a lot of people have. It is challenging. Communication is very challenging. So it's not like, oh, there's something wrong with her. Like, no, a lot of us, like me, go to NLP trainings. They're like, well, how do I communicate? Like, how do I listen better? Like, what am I doing wrong? So there's ways to learn. So I explained a couple things to her. I said, well, here's what's going on, blah, blah, blah. And I explained it. And I thought, everything's good. And then she invited me to go to a festival with her. And as we were going up and over this hill, she misunderstood something I said. And I didn't think nothing of it. Like, well, no, that's not what I said. What I actually said was, and I repeated what I said verbatim. And then I said, and that's what I mean. She goes, oh, okay. So as we went up and over and started going down, she misunderstood me 2 more times. And one time it was literally the opposite of what I said. I bit my tongue and I looked away and I was like, is she doing this on purpose? And I said to myself, if she doesn't want to go out with me, then why did she invite me to go out with her? Like, this didn't make any sense to me. And it didn't make sense for a long time either. So I kind of bit my tongue and thought, let's just enjoy ourselves. And I think after this, maybe we'll go our separate ways, or maybe we'll sit down and, have a conversation, because this is pretty much this is an issue that's repeating itself. And being an NLP trainer, I had the skills and the ability to spot, oh, I see what's going on. You're actually not hearing what I'm saying. You're hearing through a filter. You're hearing what you think I'm saying, which is not what I'm saying. And so I understand how to deal with it, etc. So I thought, let's just enjoy ourselves and, we'll go home and get a good night's rest and start over. So eventually, this is the downfall of our experience. Now, it didn't happen again, at least to my knowledge. Maybe in her head it did, but then there was another time when she completely misunderstood something I said and the intention behind it, and it just kind of all went to hell. So here's something. Now, at the time, I didn't know what an avoidant was. I'd only seen a few videos of 7-8 years ago about it. I just thought, I'm too busy learning about narcissist abuse to jump onto another subject. So I really didn't know much about it. I didn't know how to identify it or the red flags yet. But after this person, it wasn't after, it was actually about a week or two before we went our separate ways, I realized, like, oh, this is an avoidant. And I started studying the crap out of avoidant behavior. And I still do. I just watched 5 videos today on avoidant behavior alone every day. I can't help it. It's just like, it's kind of my addiction right now. So what I learned, a good 6 months later, maybe even longer, is that avoidants essentially know, okay, well, I don't deal with relationships very well. I'm not this, I'm not that. And so they pretty much are looking for, okay, I'm coming to it right now. I'm not finding a really good pre-way to explain it, but I'm going to cut to the chase. They are looking for reasons to leave the relationship, because they know eventually they're going to come to a place in the relationship where, okay, it's time to ghost, it's time to run, it's time to avoid. So I forget what video I was watching about, 8 months ago or whatever, but I was like, oh, that makes sense. Now, here was the learning, the lesson of it. It was this. They're looking and kind of storing up reasons to be like, yeah, this isn't working, and here's why, A, B, C, and D, and they said this, and they meant that. And they're looking for reasons to have a reason to bail out of the relationship, because otherwise their friends and coworkers are like, well, I don't understand, I thought this was the greatest ground, because in the beginning they love you, they think it's great, they think it's amazing, and then they have to say something to their coworkers. They can't go, well, I'm an avoidant and here's avoidant behavior, and I actually started opening my heart to this person, I started to fall in love with them, and I freaked out and I ran. Because up until very recently, and I mean very recently, and even now, most people don't know what avoidant behavior is. They've never even heard of it, because we never really understood it as a society, as a core group, psychology field, whatever, until recently. And even more recently, now people are starting to get an idea of what it is. So here's the problem for an avoidant. How are they going to tell their friends and relatives and coworkers, well, I just left him because I actually really liked the guy. He was a really good person. And I mean, could you imagine trying to explain this to people and they're like, what? Wait. So he's a good person. Your heart opened up to him, and that's when you left? That doesn't make sense. So essentially what an avoidant begins doing is they start to look for reasons to leave the relationship so they can explain to coworkers, well, he said this and I didn't really like that, and he said that and I didn't like what he said. And the fact of the matter is that's actually not something you probably didn't say at all. You probably said the opposite of it. So they're looking for ammunition, not to make you look bad, not to hurt you, not to anything like that at all, but more to tell the people around them, because the people around them are like, what's going on? This is like the fifth guy you've gotten together with, and you said it was the greatest guy in the world, and it's been only a year or year and a half now, and like you've broken up with all of them. Like what's the deal? Because people are starting to look at them like, really? It's another guy didn't work out? Oh, okay. Now, there's something I learned about 8 years ago, when I was with someone who I didn't know was a narcissist. So what happened was we went into one store in the neighborhood and they talked crap about one of the cashiers. Now, I remember I literally said, so why are you telling this? Like, I really don't care. I'm never going to come here again. It's not like I live here. And then we went into another store and they talked crap about another person. And that really kind of weirded me out after I just told them, like, I really don't enjoy hearing this. And then another day later, we went to a coffee shop, and as we were in the coffee shop in line, he starts talking about this young lady, and really just like talking bad. I go, you know what, dude? I think I'm just going to leave. He goes, why? I go, dude, she can hear you. He goes, I don't care. I go, yeah, that's exactly why. I don't want to be a part of this. So here's my point. One thing I realized, like, oh, this guy's probably talking shit about me, and if he isn't, he's probably going to start talking shit about me. So I was on my way out. Now here's the difference when it comes to an avoidant. So with a narcissist, the red flag is, are they talking shit about people? If they are, I am telling you. Now if it's one person, one time, and that's it, then you're fine. But if it's like one after another, let's say 3 in a week or something, yeah, you got to get out. That person's talking shit about you already. And that's the thing. You think they're not talking behind your back? They are. Now with an avoidant, it's not quite like that. Here's the red flag you got to look for with an avoidant. Because you may not pick it up right away, and they may not do it to you right away. So with someone else, and you may not even know they're avoidant, but this is a red flag of, oh, this might be an avoidant. So essentially what's going to happen is, what you want to look for is when they're communicating to someone, do they misunderstand them? Do they do it a lot? Is it kind of like part of their communication strategy or model, or the way they communicate, a communication pattern of, oh, that's not what that person said. They actually said A, but they thought they said C or D or F or G or H. So if they're misunderstanding people, that's a red flag right there. Because they're probably going to start doing that with you. So if they've misunderstood, and I don't mean if it was one misunderstanding. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about if you've been with them and 3 times, 3 different people, they've misunderstood something, whereas you weren't, where you were kind of in the conversation but off to the side, and you were just listening casually, and you're looking at them like, wait, that's not what they said. That's when you should start to tune in and start paying attention. Notice how their interactions are with other people and also with you. Because here's the challenge with avoidance. They don't like to discuss problems. So if you have, and one thing they'll tell you is, I don't like to argue. Now, I personally don't like to argue, and if someone argues a lot, I'll say, hey man, I don't like to argue. If you want to discuss stuff, that's fine. But if you're going to yell and scream and raise your voice and purposely misunderstand me, yeah, I'm not going there. Or purposely not hear and understand what I'm saying, yeah. That's different versus someone not wanting to discuss anything at all to work things out. Now, number one, it really does, kind of use this word, can't find a better, more eloquent word right now, but it sucks. It hurts when someone is misunderstanding something you're saying, because they're looking for ammunition to be like, well, here's my excuses and reasons to get out of the relationship, when in reality, I'm terrified of intimacy. I've opened up to you emotionally. I'm starting to have emotional feelings for you, and I'm out of here. Now, here's the funny thing. If an avoidant had told you, said, hey, here's my deal. I am freaking out. I love you. I opened up emotionally. I'm starting to feel intimacy with you. It terrifies me and I can't do this. It is overwhelming emotionally. I have to leave. I'm so sorry, but I've got to go. Believe it or not, at least for me and probably most of you, that would feel a lot better than having someone just ghost the hell out of you. So pay attention if communication is something they have a challenge with. Now, when I say communication, I mean listening to understand. If they're having problems understanding what other people are saying, what you're saying, it's gonna come back around to you. Now, it may not be an avoidant. So when I say red flag, it doesn't mean, oh, that means they're avoidant. No, it doesn't. It just means, like, start paying attention, because this is going to probably start happening between the two of you too. So one thing for me is, if I have an experience with someone where they just don't understand what I'm saying, it doesn't matter if they're doing it on purpose to play mind games like a narcissist, or if it's an avoidant saying, I need some evidence or ammunition to say, hey, here's why I left that person. And here's the funny thing, they'll start looking for it months before they even have any problems with you, before they even start freaking out on their own. They're just, hey, I need ammunition, so when I start freaking out, because that's what I do, I'm an avoidant, and I need to run eventually, so I need to have this. So my point being is, if you notice people are doing this, you really should kind of prepare to be like, yeah, this is not a healthy thing. I don't even want to say it's not a healthy thing. It's pretty toxic, actually. But it's something you should pay attention to, and if it does start happening in a relationship, you might want to talk about it. And if they don't want to talk about it, I would recommend, it's up to you, but I would recommend walking away, because you're going to get hurt down the road. One thing I want to mention, I do teach, it's something I learned during neurolinguistic programming and also through my meditation and some other things I learned, is there actually is a way to silence your mind and just listen to receive in completion without thinking. Because if you think, you just interrupt it. The more you think, the more you interrupt, the more you're missing what they're saying. So what's happening is, you're mixing in your thoughts with what they're saying, and you're not actually hearing what they're saying. You're hearing what you're putting in there. So you can learn how to do it. I do teach this to men, especially in the Cracked Female Code course, because listening to understand with clarity is a very important and extremely powerful tool to have. It makes people feel heard. And most people don't listen. Most people have never been heard pretty much in their entire life. If you want to learn how to do this, get a hold of me at mike@mikekollin.com, MikeKollin.com. Remember, click subscribe, click the like button, go ahead and make a comment, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.